Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this week is starting off with a bang in many different ways. You can see everything changing right before our eyes. One thing from last week, towards the end of last week, they were saying Trump is about to do an executive order to open up 401ks where they can invest in crypto. That would bring in basically 9 to 12 trillion dollarinis. Just a reminder, iTrust Capital, my partner, has been doing this from the beginning, really. They're probably the largest crypto IRA company in the world. You can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRPArmy, and you have choices. I have IRAs with them, but I also have a premium custody account, which is the taxable account. I sent my XRP into that account, but you can also open an IRA account. You can also talk to them about rolling 401ks over into an IRA at iTrust Capital, in part or in full. So go to iTrustCapital. By the way, you get institutional custody for free. Their only fee is a 1% trading fee back and forth, which is reasonable. So go to iTrustCapital.com/XRPArmy, and when you do open an account, go down here. They've got a code, XRP, promo code XRP6. You'll get a $100 funding bonus. All right, we've got a 352 XRP price. This thing feels like it is sitting on the launch pad, just rumbling right now. And then I wanted to point something out. Crypto is Federal Reserve 2.0. Genius Act signed on Friday. Monday, the Treasury Secretary goes on CNBC talking about examining the Fed. This isn't hard to figure out.
Look, Joe, I think that what we need to do is examine the entire Federal Reserve institution and whether they have been successful. I'm speaking, actually, I'm going to be in the building this evening. There is a regulatory conference that begins tomorrow. I'm the keynote speaker tonight talking about regulation. The Fed as well deals with monetary policy, regulations, financial stability. And I think that we should think, has the organization succeeded in its mission? You know, if this were the FAA and we were having this many mistakes, we would go back and look at why has this happened? I mean, look at as you said at the top of this broadcast, there was fear mongering over tariffs, and thus far we have seen very little, if any, inflation. We've had great inflation numbers. So, I think this idea of them not being able to break out of a certain mindset, all these PhDs over there, I don't know what they do. This is like universal basic income for academic economists.
Exactly. And then the Treasury Secretary, they sent him out too, and I commented, we sure have come a long way since the Gary Gensler shit show.
So I thought this was a really great watershed and thanks to the President for his leadership and the Congress for getting this out and getting that bill to the President's desk for signature. I think this bill the Genius Act is focused on payment stablecoins, and so that's not really within the SEC's ambit of regulation, but it's really for the banking regulators, as is appropriate. But the one great thing about this is that for the first time now, the United States government has put its stamp of approval on a very key and important, potentially very important digital asset that will, I think, help to lower costs, lower risks in the market, because we can now move towards an instantaneous almost settlement of payment versus delivery for securities, thanks to on-chain stablecoins. And that will help, I think, innovation and to really get our markets, and to be the best in the world.
Okay. Now, this is today, I think. Tomorrow. July 22nd, White House is going to release first ever crypto policy report under Executive Order 14178. This could reshape U.S. crypto regulation, define government priorities on digital assets and blockchain. Here's Charles Hoskinson talking about the progress being made in the Senate.
There'll be some releases from the Senate soon, and look for those. And there's some good stuff that's coming. I can't say much more, but the process is moving in the right direction. And we're getting it done, and there's been some great leadership in the House and Senate, and also I'm very thankful for Trump to open up this space and actually get it done. Just the very fact that he said it's a priority, made it a priority, and we're internally grateful for that, part of it. And overall, it's going to be great for the markets. It's going to be great for crypto, and great for America.
Bingo. Then we had this going around from Cointelegraph. XRP surpasses Shell in market cap. So I wanted to take this opportunity to remind you that XRP is the new oil. It will lubricate the system. Here's a quote from Brad Garlinghouse back during the SEC lawsuit. Certainly we are interested in an interested party in the success of XRP Ledger for sure. We own a lot of XRP, but it's a little bit like saying Exxon owns a lot of oil. That doesn't make oil a security. And then, and I put here, XRP is the oil that greases the system of the Internet of Value. But don't take my word for it. Here's Brad Garlinghouse.
He really kind of introduced this idea of this Internet of Value and how for that to exist, you need certain oil in that engine to grease the system so that it can work. And XRP, the digital asset that Ripple has kind of standardized on, if you will, extremely fast, extremely low cost, and it could be an interesting use case for that. So, I think there's going to be lots of cryptos that win. You and I have talked about that before. Yeah. I think there'll be different use cases and different protocols and different technologies that will win. But his vision and kind of what he talked about and bridging the kind of traditional financial world with this next generation, at the time we weren't calling it Web3, it really appealed to me. Well, one last thing I'll say about this that I think is something I thought about. I don't think there's that many times in your life where you get to do something where you really can, to borrow Steve Jobs' expression, put a dent in the universe. There have been a couple of times in my career where I feel like I've had that opportunity, but it's pretty rare, it's pretty unique. And when I thought about what Ripple is trying to do, it's one of these kind of audacious things of like, okay, we're going to enable an Internet of Value. We're going to build systems to catalyze that future vision. It's definitely one of those things. You're like, okay, if we do that, that's going to change the way some of these systems operate, and you're going to feel like I helped put a dent in the universe. And there's something I find personally gratifying about that. That it's not in kind of as Elon Musk for him. I think it was about, as you described, like it's important work for the world.
Yeah.
I think if you can unlock an Internet of Value, it's going to change a lot about how some of these things work.
Yes, sir, it is. And then here's Chris Larsen himself talking about XRP lubricating the world.
It's like XRP and Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're kind of in that mid-range. They become, I think, like the Singapore dollar or the Swiss franc, and they become useful in, kind of lubricating the world to make it easier for those big four to get in the hands of people all around the world.
Lubricating the world. Crypto traders are increasingly shifting capital into ETH, XRP, Sol, and Doge, of all things, as Bitcoin finds footing near $120,000. Crypto debut alt season has returned as Genius Act drives interest to stablecoins supporting blockchains like Ethereum, Solana, Conflux, whatever. Now, this is one of those elephants in the room that's never talked about. Am I the only one that finds it interesting that Trump and his family own tons of crypto, but they never show XRP holdings? They won't say XRP out loud. They applied for an ETF that will hold XRP. They just can't say it out loud. That is one bullish tell. Look, here's World Liberty Financial's portfolio. Are you telling me that World Liberty Financial owns Tether, Ethereum, USDC, Tron, Wrapped Bitcoin, Chainlink, Avalanche, Aave, Ondo, Athena, Mantle, USD1, SEI, Volta, Buildon, Movement, but they don't own any XRP, folks. Come on, come on, come on, come on. This is not hard to figure out what's going on here. Paul Barron gets it. Game changer. With RLUSD already compliant with the Genius Act, one-to-one reserve requirements and monthly audits, XRP becomes the bridge currency for regulated digital payments ecosystem. Every RLUSD transaction on the XRPL burns XRP, creating deflationary pressure while institution adoption soars. The future of payments isn't just digital, it's XRP powered. Remember that photo in Brad Garlinghouse's house? Laugh now, but one day XRP will power the world. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, which is my Patreon, or you can click join below any of these YouTube videos, join through YouTube, or you can subscribe through X. I do the full video plus the extended video with no commercials. Today we're going to talk about exit strategies. How do I think about XRP exit strategies? How do I think about my exit strategy? What's your exit strategy? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.